Well, that stupid fat Hong Kong guy is at it again. This time, it's mooncakes. So, what can we tell about the whole mooncake thing? Is it is almost time for the Mid-Autumn Festival. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of China How It Is. Now, what I have over here is a box of mooncakes. Now, this episode is going to be all about the Mid-Autumn Festival, and I thought before we go into the explanation of the actual festival and what people do and why they do it, I'd show you probably the most important or the most recognizable part of this festival anyway, which are mooncakes. Now, the client gave me this lovely box of mooncakes. Inside we have our mooncakes, of course. I've got one different one. This is different from the others, which I scavenged from somewhere else. During this time, you're going to get a lot of these things. The reason being that although there are traditional reasons for obviously eating these things, and it's supposed to be a family thing, they've now become a sign of appreciation. So what will happen is you'll find a lot of people will actually give you mooncakes just to kind of show they appreciate you, and it's become a face thing. So, you know, I find my clients love to give these things to me, and they give them to their friends during this time. Anyway, let's take a look at what a mooncake really is. Let me set up the tripod, and then we will open this thing up and cut it up and give it a try. Okay, so let's try this out here, shall we? Let me just tear it open. I have to excuse my hands are a bit greasy. I've been working on bikes, of course. Now, there it is. I'll tell you what, let's take a look. We've got two different ones here, although I suspect they are the same type, because you do get different types of mooncakes. Anyway, I got a big one and a small one. First thing you'll notice about these things is they are very heavy. I'm not joking, these things have got serious weight. They're incredibly dense. That's why I think you could live on one of these things a day, actually. They fill you up. You eat one of these things, you feel really full. Anyway, let's cut this one open, shall we? See, I wasn't joking, that thing is really, really dense. let me just try. Can't believe that knife just broke. Alright, usually they supply little plastic knives in the box, do they? No, not this one, they did not. Okay, I'm gonna have to find another knife. I'll be right back. Okay, here I have my trusty IKEA knife, which is a lot stronger. Anyway, wonderful. This is actually one of the good ones, with nuts inside. So, these ones, well, let me just give it a try and I'll tell you. Well, I'm going to be totally honest. I don't really like that one. It tastes like marzipan. It's got a marzipan taste. It's got dried fruits and nuts inside. I mean, it's okay, but yeah, not brilliant. Let's take a look at this one. This is more the usual kind, a very gelatinous sort of thing. Although I'm quite surprised. Usually you get like a big egg yolk, or double egg yolk in these things. That's the most normal one you find. Anyway, let me try this. It's very sticky, and this is obviously red bean flavor. But yeah, the thing about these mooncakes is that they're incredibly heavy. You know, I don't know how to explain it to you. Just they are like actually literally heavy, but when you eat them, you feel incredibly weighed down. They're jam-packed full of calories and whatnot, and yeah, I think if you ate only mooncakes for a week, you'd put on like 10 kilograms or something. Yeah, anyway, I'm just joking there, but I think these are all the same. Yeah, seems like it. Okay, so there's no point in me opening these. I'll save them like military rations for another time. But quite honestly though, mooncakes, you do get nice ones. You do get ones with meat inside, but definitely not down south here. The ones we get down south usually have a whole egg yolk. You know, that's the signature thing in the middle. kind of a dried egg yolk. It's hard to describe, or 2 egg yolks. This, you can see they all look very nice and ornate, and they all kind of look like this. This is what a mooncake looks like. Yeah, kind of lucky that we got this. This is one of the better types, I think, the ones with the nuts inside compared to the egg yolk ones. These are a little more palatable. But yeah, you know, you can't avoid these if you're living in China, so you will get a chance to try them during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Anyway, let's move on and see why people actually eat these things and what the whole story is about the Mid-Autumn Festival. So, what is this whole Mid-Autumn Festival all about? What is the legend or story behind it? Well, I've been living in China for 8 years now, and every year I ask my Chinese friends to tell me the story, and every year I get a different answer. And it depends who I speak to. I mean, I've heard all sorts of different things about woodcutters on the moon, you know, beautiful angel goddess fairies, and rabbits that mix magical potions and all sorts of nonsense. So what I did was I actually went for a meeting with a bunch of people, and I asked them to do me a favor and do all of us a favor and actually tell us together what they think it's all about. So I asked them to prepare a little something, and well, let's see what they came up with. So you're going to tell us all about the Mid-Autumn Festival, the legend behind the Mid-Autumn Festival. Right?
Yes, we want to tell you something about the Mid-Autumn Day and other legend.
Okay.
Okay, start, please.
Long ago, there is a very beautiful woman whose name is Chang'e. Her husband, Hou Yi, is a professional shooter. Because of his hard work, the goddess gave him a dragon that can make people live forever. One day, Chang'e is at home alone. She is at home alone. An employee of Hou Yi went to their home, tried to rob the drug. He threatened Chang'e to kill her if she didn't take out the drug. Instead of robbed by him, Chang'e ate the drug, and after that, she flied as immortal and achieved the moon at last. On the moon, there is no people but a rabbit.
Okay, so if you didn't quite get that, the story goes that this guy, Hou Yi, who was a famous archer, he shot down 9 of the 10 suns in the sky. There were apparently 10 suns. They all came out at the same time, and they were scorching the earth and making life difficult for all the humans. So he shot down 9 of the 10 of them, and as a reward, the emperor gave him a drug or a potion of immortality. Apparently he kept it at his house, and one of his employees came to try and steal it, and his wife Chang'e, rather than giving the drug to this guy, she took it herself. But you know, you're not supposed to take that much at one time, so she not only became immortal, but she flew to the moon. So that's where we are at the moment. Now, the next part of this story that I've never really been able to figure out is where the rabbit comes from. See, Chang'e always has a rabbit with her on the moon. Some say the rabbit mixes elixirs, some say the rabbit is her pet, and so I asked these blokes, where's this rabbit from? And, well, this is their explanation.
Long time ago, Chang'e fly to the moon, and his husband, Hou Yi, is very miss her, and he not went to the moon palace, and he turn himself to a rabbit, and live alone with her, and in the moon palace, to as her pet, have a very nice life.
Alright, so according to her, Hou Yi, Chang'e's husband, found a way to live with her on the moon by turning himself into a rabbit. Now, this is the first time I've heard this version of the story. I've heard all sorts of different versions as to why there's a rabbit there. But that just seems to be the way China is. With every single festival, the story behind it or the legend behind it seems to change depending on who you ask. So the way I approach this is I honestly just choose the story I like the most and stick with that. Anyway, let's move on and find out why people eat mooncake.
You, please. You tell me about why we eat mooncake, and I will tell you about why Wugang cut down trees.
Okay.
To remember the beautiful story, we will eat mooncakes every year of this time. That's all. We have finished the story.
Okay. Really? Well, how about...
Okay, I will tell you why Wugang cut down trees. You know, in the Mu Palace, Chang'e has a neighbor named Wugang, and angry with his impatience, the master punished him to cut down the trees, which is a living forever tree. And in the end, Wugang became to love Chang'e, but Chang'e still loved his husband. He refused his love again and again.
Okay.
And in the end, Chang'e still live along with his rabbit, and Wugang keep cutting down the tree again and again.
Okay.
Okay, this
Thank
is
you.
about the fourth story about the MidAutumn Day.
All right, I have one question though. So where does the rabbit come from? You say the rabbit...
Well, it's the whole year.
So the Hou turned into a rabbit,
Yes.
and then went to the moon
To this,
to be with...
And live with her and wife.
Okay, and what about, you said there's a dog that eats the mooncake.
oh,
It's another story.
Okay, it's another story.
this is the fifth story.
Okay, so tell me about the dog that eats the mooncake. What's that about?
Because I think because the heaven dog want to eat the moon. People want to protect the moon so there isn't there will be not dark in the night. So people make many kinds of cakes to supply the dog, so the dog will not eat the moon. The cake may be more delicious.
Okay, that's not a bad story. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now here we have another legend sort of spliced in with the other one. The guy Wu Gang, who is a woodcutter, who is apparently very selfish, and so he was banished to the moon to cut a guihua tree, as far as I know, which is a type of a tree. An ever-growing tree, he had to keep cutting it down, and the more he cuts it down, the more it grows. So it's one of those horrible sort of perpetual cycles. Anyway, he somehow ties into the whole thing too, as you heard. He falls in love with Chang'e, and she keeps spurning his love, and he keeps cutting down a tree. Hopefully one of my Chinese subscribers can clarify this whole situation in the comment section below. Anyway, let's move on. I decided to ask some people in an office where I work to sit down with me and explain to me exactly what people like to do during the Mid-Autumn Festival. I mean, not the legend, but what families and people actually do. So let's go and ask them. Well, hello everybody. I'm here with some friends of mine, and we're talking about the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is coming up. When is the Mid-Autumn Festival anyway?
That's the lunar calendar, the August 15th.
15th. Okay, so with the solar calendar, what would it be?
So this year, every year it will change.
Yes.
So this year September 19th.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well, maybe you can just introduce yourselves quickly for everyone. So.
Hello, I'm Shelley.
Great, Anne?
I'm Tracy.
Okay, fantastic. So, Shelley and Tracy are going to try and help me explain to all of you what the Mid-Autumn Festival is all about. Okay, so I think the first thing I'd like to ask both of you ladies is, what is it that people do during the Mid-Autumn Festival? Maybe you can begin, Shelley, tell us a little.
Of course, people first of all will eat a mooncake, but before they eat mooncake, they will get together, especially with family and with friends, and they will have a dinner together. And after the dinner, they will start to eat a mooncake. Sometimes they will go to some open place, or if you don't go there, you will go to the balcony to look at the moon and at the same time eat the mooncake.
Okay, very nice. What would you say, Tracy? What do you normally do?
You know, we prepare some food for the family or for the friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about family and food, right?
Yeah.
Can you describe to us what a mooncake is? Maybe either one of you.
In China, there are a lot of different kinds of mooncake. The mooncake is very, very.
Yeah.
And in North China, we have some wooden mooncake. They have something like the nuts, peanuts, and all kinds of nuts
Right.
together. It's sweet, kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And in South China, especially in Guangdong,
Yeah.
Guangdong province, the Cantonese mooncake is they add egg.
Eggs,
We
yes.
call it lianrong or salt egg. A
Right.
lot of different. And in Yunnan, we add a ham.
Ham.
Yuntui mooncake.
Ah.
So in China, actually we have probably hundreds kind of.
Of different kinds.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does a mooncake look like?
Round.
Round.
Like the moon.
Like
Right, okay, exactly, round, just like the moon. I guess that's the whole point. Okay, so when you were younger, how did you celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival?
After dinner, my friends will call me, or my friends, my classmates, will go out together to the sports ground of the school,
Right.
and we sit there to look at the moon and to have some conversation and to eat the mooncake.
Okay, very nice.
Like
And you?
Sometimes we go to the top of the mountain
Right.
to appreciate the moon.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And you call that in Chinese, you call that what? Shang'e?
Yeah, Chang'e.
Shang'e.
Chang'e is to see how beautiful the moon
Okay.
is.
All right, so because the Mid-Autumn Festival falls in the middle of autumn, hence the name, the moon is bigger, rounder, and full during that time. So that's a big part of the whole festival, is to go and appreciate the moon, right? And to spend time with friends and family.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So apparently there's also, you can just say the Chinese, I'll translate. Okay. So apparently there's also a special kind of fruit that a lot of people like to eat during the Mid-Autumn Festival.
Yes.
What's it called?
Besides the mooncake, we also eat some fruit like 石榴.
Okay, 石榴.
Yeah.
Okay,
柚子.
柚子.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
What do you say?
柚子 is grapefruit.
Oh, grapefruit.
Yeah. Okay, so 石榴 is a pomegranate. They like to eat pomegranates and grapefruit. Is that also because it's round?
Yeah, it's round. It's red.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's complicated.
Okay, right, I understand. Okay, great. So I presume it's also because it's round and also, the roundness, what does the roundness actually signify?
Signify. I think it's represent the harmony of the family and get together. Usually we will sit together in a round table. Everybody sit around, so the round represent the harmony and we call it 阖家幸福.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Well, guys, I hope you now understand a little bit more about the Mid-Autumn Festival. Now we know what mooncakes look like, we have an idea why people eat them, and what people like to do during the festival. I'd like to say a big thanks to all my friends out at Sunsea, who are the guys who helped me with the legend, and of course, big thanks to Shelley and Tracy as well. Guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video, and until then, stay safe, and if you haven't already, go out and find yourself a mooncake and try it. It's actually quite interesting. Cheers for now.